Blackout Revival is a very unique and detailed game with many cool features like contraband items. I mean, you have the full-time accelerator, commander kit, and the slasher. Actually, you do not have this because it is an unreleased item, a Halloween exclusive melee which hasn't yet appeared in the game. As Blackout has a lot of content which just never ended up in the game, it makes me wonder why. So in today's video, I will be going over all of the scrapped content from Blackout and giving my personal thoughts on it. Leave a like and subscribe if you find this video entertaining, and with all that said, let's get started with the video. First on the list is screams. Whenever a player would get downed or killed and the audio of screaming would play. This gives the game a realistic sort of feeling to it, so I'm not entirely sure why they removed it, especially since getting downed in today's Blackout is so uneventful and boring. I mean, you're literally just there and nothing else happens. It's unrealistic because who's going to get shot 20 times in the chest and not make any sound? That's just my take on it though. If I had to guess why they removed it, I would say maybe because the audio is from another game and Silver is trying to avoid getting this game taken down twice. The next removed feature was Blackout's custom chat bar. It wasn't anything much since it's just a type-in, but it's pretty cool in the middle of the screen and with its own design unique to the game itself. Granted, the Frost of Frights event moved the chat bar, but its design didn't carry over. And even though it doesn't matter that much, it sticks out from all the other screen UIs. Take a look at the leaderboard and the player stats. They're matching, but the chat bar looks like it's not even supposed to be in there. But overall, I wouldn't suggest this as anything necessary to bring back into Blackout. One important one was the old bounty boards. Just look at them. They look amazing with only the highest bounty shown on them. It would be cool to have a variety of bounty board styles, ones that have a list of several high bounties like the ones we already have, and ones that are directed towards only the highest bounty. And speaking of bounty boards, why not add some random ads around the map too, like how they were in sneak peeks? Now, even though I'm pretty sure these were just placeholders, it would be nice having different kinds of screens that are related to the game, like one for contraband items, maybe one for lab, and so on. Crossbows used to have explosive rounds which worked like a mini grenade launcher, dealing just barely 20 damage. They would stun the player shot at for a few seconds and then go back to normal. Today's crossbow only has regular, stun, and fire rounds, so it already has a good variety of ammo types, making explosive optional. In sneak peek number 5, Silver said they replaced explosive rounds to stun, which made it weaker, and as you can probably guess, they removed the explosion as well. I see why they did this though, because crossbows are unlocked at level 14, which isn't that hard to reach, so it'd only be better if half the server didn't run around the map with mini grenade launchers. The leaderboard in modern day Blackout is very simple, just someone's username and their level. However, in sneak peeks there is a feature that would show the amount of bounty players had on the leaderboard. Now this feature is probably scrapped because of bounty boards taking its place, but I don't think it would hurt to add it back since I personally never really look at bounty boards except for when I'm hunting operators. Also, maybe instead of bounty it could show the amount of money someone has. This will give people a reason to farm money who already have more than they can spend. Just a little feature that I think should be brought back since it's harmless not to. The next removed feature was the weapon flashlight, a probably cheap attachment that you could put on some guns which would help you see when it was dark. Nowadays, Blackout has many different attachments, whether it's a sight, barrel, or a grip, but you don't see flashlight there. I'm not really sure why I never made it into the game, but if I had to guess, maybe because people could easily mistake it for a sniper's glare and it would throw people off. But just imagine a Blackout activates and you have an advantage in PvP because you can actually see and sneak up on someone. I think it would be a really cool feature, but one more thing I would add is making Blackouts dark like how they were in sneak peeks. You can barely see anything without a flashlight. It would really give the game a cold feeling whenever a Blackout happens. Current Blackouts only shut down power, which doesn't even do much, but that's just my thoughts. Kill cards can give a lot of information in just a small area of your screen. They were added into Blackout, but they were removed shortly after, and as a replacement we now have these boring kill cards that aren't even cards anymore. They're just words. I mean, I understand that it tells you everything you need to know, but it looks so empty and looks like the devs didn't even bother putting in effort. This downgrade sucks, but I'm pretty sure it's because they looked way too similar to the kill cards in Criminality, which if you know, you know, but I believe they can be redone to look original since I really like them. Next up is the blood that will be left on melees after killing someone, specifically the katana. I genuinely have no clue why this was removed because it couldn't have been for Roblox thinking it's too much gore since Blackout already has a ton of it and because it's just a small addition to melees. I personally would really like it since the katana, for example, already has a sick animation that would only be cooler if it had blood on it after use. It only makes sense since it would make the game feel more realistic, and besides finishers there's nothing else melees are really missing since they have modifiers, cool animations, and are made very well by the dev team. Similarly to weapon flashlights, helmets also had this attachment in early sneak peeks, but it was removed for whatever reason. It would be so cool seeing random lights around the map during a blackout, and in general just helmets that have attachments. And speaking of attachments, why not put some on other armor pieces, like one on tactical leggings that gives you 12% more speed, or an attachment on vest that gives you extra bullet resistance. I would really like to see armor pieces get attachments because it would make the game a lot more fun. And on the topic of armor, night vision needs to be toggleable with the keybind. I don't understand why they would remove this keybind, since it's really inconvenient to constantly equip and unequip night vision goggles. There have been many suggestions, but none of them were ever proved, and I honestly don't see how this feature could harm Blackout, since guns and melees both already have many attachments. The radio or boombox has been shown in many sneak peeks. My guess is that it was to come as a game pass, but it was scrapped entirely. It had many options in its UI to change the song, playback, speed, and overall customizations for the boombox itself. The reason why it was removed is probably because it's a free model and Silver doesn't want anything he didn't make in his game. I don't feel the need for this to be in the game since it's just a cosmetic, but mainly because it could be abused to play inappropriate and loud audios. Slasher was supposed to be a Halloween exclusive item. I thought it would show up on Halloween, but it never came, likely due to the dev team being busy with the Frosted Frights event. This weapon would have probably been so fun to use that I'm actually mad it was scrapped. Even though it works the same as photon blades, chopping off any limbs in contact and being able to one-shot heads, it would still make a killer Halloween item with its sound effects and how it looks. Using it at night when it's dark would be sick because just look at how it glows. It's absolutely amazing. I really hope it comes next Halloween. Breaking glass used to make you bleed in Blackout if nearby, as it should in real life. I'm not sure why this feature was removed. It's realistic and such a small feature that has very little impact. You may find it annoying needing to use a bandage every time you go through a broken window, but it's realistic and only makes sense. I'm pretty sure this has been suggested too, meaning that players want it back. So I don't see why the dev team didn't bring it into the game. Blackout's death screen is very bland and has a lot of potential. All it shows is who killed you, how many people assisted, and a random fact about the game. In sneak peeks, there's a death screen that would show your character for a short amount of time, which I think is pretty neat. But we downgraded to the boring death screen we have today. There have been suggestions with examples of how this should look like one with more information that includes what killed you in the distance, or one that has an in-depth statistic. Both are really good options that I think Blackout should make use of in creating a new death screen. Terminals used to have smooth loading animations, like they were so good. Let me get a replay on it. For just a small addition to terminals, there's no reason to remove it. It makes terminals look better since they're kind of ugly in the current state. I mean, there's not a lot of colors, it's just green and black. And where's the customization at? Key cards should be their same color, contrabands should all be red, and so on. I made a suggestion for this months back, I'm talking like in April, and many others have been made too, and we still have this boring terminal UI that needs to be changed. In sneak peek number 8, Silver said that he would make more pings, specifically ones for enemies and loot. Now, even though it wasn't technically scrapped since it wasn't ever made, I think Silver dropped the idea of making it because it may contribute to there being way too many keybinds, or because a lot of people who play Blackout communicate in a call, and maybe because the sneak peek was published almost 2 years ago. But don't get me wrong, I think it would be a good addition to Blackout for those who aren't in a call, or just in general a nice quality of life feature for the game. There used to be 2 lockpicking games, one for normal things like lockers and containers, and a special one exclusive to safes only, which fit the theme of it being safe because you needed to crack the code. My best guess on why it was scrapped is because it was too complicated, but then again, that's just me. I see it as a neat feature to match the safe that you're opening. And having different games for lockpicking makes Blackout look more detailed, so I don't really know why they bothered removing it from the game. That's it for this video. I'm going to try to get videos out every week like I used to, but worst case scenario, it ends up bi-weekly. I have many interesting videos planned that you don't want to miss out on, so leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of my videos, and I'll catch you in my next video.